Right, welcome back. Today we are going to install a Stone Stomper onto our MDC 12 Plus. So for those that are looking at getting a Stone Stomper, it is a mesh section that goes underneath your van to your vehicle. The idea keeping the stone and the dust down so you're not peppering your van and putting rocks through your back window. Remembering that when you order Stone Stomper, it's per van. It's made to measure, made to fit only one van or camper or whatever you want to put it onto, boat, and remembering that you'll have to pay for it up front. So in this case, I'm fitting it to a Forbes MDC 12 Plus to a BT50, and this is a 2021 version. So these measurements will be specific for that vehicle. So before we start fitting it, there's a number of things you have to consider. The measurements. So we'll look at what we need to do to measure up this, and then we'll go into fitting it. All right, trusty stick for measuring. Okay people, just excuse the wind today. It is blowing its absolute nutsack off today. Persevere and see how we go. Right, so let's look at some of the fittings we've got to consider. First of all, if we look at where the center point of our DO35, which is also one of the things we need to consider when we look at our options, what I want to do is find a parallel center point to the top of the DO35, which is where it's going to fit obviously over onto your vehicle. I'm going to take a measurement from the end of that stick or end of what you're using, and we're going to take it back to the point of where you want to fit it to your van. So in this case, what I'm going to do is take a measurement from, I want to fit mine to this front section where the bolts are here. I'm just going to use existing bolts, and I want to take a measurement out to where the center line of that DO35 is. So in this case, I'm looking at about 1120. Okay, about 1120. So that's the length we're going to be looking at for the actual mesh that goes on here. If you want to take it further back, so be it. But people have done in the past where they've cut the mud flaps off. I don't see a reason to do that. You've got a lot of protection under here. People may have their own opinions on that, but do what works for you, okay? So the next thing we ought to measure is the distance from this point on the van all the way to the other point on the van, and that gives us the width of the Stone Stomper for the van itself. Okay, in this case I'm looking at about 2100. You've seen from here, that's the measurements there. Okay, now once we've got that measurement worked out, so the next measurements we're going to look at now is the distance from the DO35 connection to the back of the tow bar, and we have to make sure we've got 45 minimum, which we have. And what we do in this case is we're going for an option 1, which is an angled tow bar. Depending on your tow bar with the option you actually select in your request when you put in your purchase for it. So this is option 1, angled. And on this one here, we're going to install a bracket that goes underneath the hitch point here, and it'll go up to connect the actual frame for the Stone Stomper. Right, next measurement we've got to take. The length of what we want to take it to the vehicle. So in this case, I've done these measurements already, but you want at least the minimum width of the vehicle to give it extra protection. So in this case here, I've gone 1800. So that gives me just past the length of it, okay? Some people say 1900, go a bit further out, but whatever works for you. Just make sure you do it properly, measure a few times, just don't go and put in an order straight away without double checking everything, because you're going to get one go at it, and if you get it wrong, you have to order a whole new Stone Stomper, okay? All right, so once we've got the major considerations done, the brackets are the next bit. So in this case, I'm going to go for the, I think I said it's the 150mm brackets. So the 150mm brackets are the ones that you connect the Stone Stomper to the actual van. In this case, I'm going to undo the bolts going to the mud flaps, put it straight to that, and then we will attach the frame to that part up on the other side, just with the elastics. All right, let's go on and see what's in the box. First thing, all else fails, read the instructions, which we've got here. Tells us all about the product. Pretty good information in it actually too. Apparently removes in seconds. We'll see that in a sec. Okay, first thing we're going to do is install the bracket for the tow bar. So first bit we're going to do is install the bracket for the Stone Stomper metal frame itself. 13mm socket and a spanner, help you out a bit. And also we've got to remove the tow bar hitch itself here. Take that off. Right, this bracket here, it's got to go back as far as it can, as you can see, like so. Alright, so in hindsight too, it's probably easier to fit this first and then fit your tow bar back on, which you just found this the hard way. I know people argue about the direction of nuts should be in the direction of travel, that kind of thing, aviation theory, all that bullshit, but anyway, we've got it on, so it makes it also easy to line this up nice and straight. Another thing to consider too, most modern vehicles have reversing sensors, so if you've got your Stone Stomper on and you've got your tow bar on, you haven't got your van hooked up, just trial and error. I've got yet to test this to see if it actually does interfere with it, but I'm guessing it may. We'll see what happens. So anyway, back to the business at hand. Put the DA35 back on the tow bar. Push this back as far as you can get it, like we've been instructed to, and the nut back on. Next bit we'll do is fitting the brackets to the van. Alright, so for fitting the brackets there's two options. You can go for 150mm or 270mm. The 150 on this size van is perfectly suitable. What I have done though is I've actually enlarged the hole on the end one so that I can put the existing bolt through from the mud flap straight into that, and then put that back onto the bracket, and then from that we'll just tack screw the other screws into it, so like so. Excuse my back guys, a bit root at the moment, but so put that through the existing hole. There's already a washer on the back. You can't over tension these of course because it's got a rubber back on it. Let's get down a bit lower. Right, so we're just going to tighten this up, make sure it's level. Okay, it's tight enough. Make sure level here, and then from here we'll just put in the tack screws as required. Alright, so just tack the screw that's into here. Alright, so the last bit was fitting this actual cradle section here, the mesh to the camper. After we've installed the brackets, you can see that in the back point here, we've just locked on a D-shackle here. Probably work even just as effective using a couple of simple clips as well. All right, so we've got the pins installed. We're going to move up to the front section. I've shown already how just to connect the Stone Stomper to the front bracket assembly. Just using these clips, they lock into 3 little pins on either side. So I'll show you that just here. So if you lift up this bit of canvas here, you can see the brackets here. All we do is just open up the guide like so, put them onto each point. They're elastic. Fit them in. The last one. Fit it in like so. Now you might have noticed we've changed a couple of things. One of the things we did notice is that you have to install it up on this highest point above the tow bar because you can't get the DA35 down with enough clearance. So just remember that if you're installing this, make sure you've got enough clearance for your DA35, in this case what we're using. Now when you're connecting your trailer plugs and your chains, they will go under the flap. People are saying put it over the top. I don't think that's really a smart move. Put them underneath the flap, because this flap here will actually, once you're driving, will come up and give you that bit of protection between the car and the Stone Stomper. Chains go underneath as normal. Don't forget your breakaway as well goes in there as well. Okay, so that's fully installed. What we'll do is once we finish wrapping this up, we'll just put these back onto the covers back onto this, and we'll be ready to go. Now, point of note, consider this with your reversing cameras, reversing sensors, sorry, is they are now in the way. I thought I'd be clear of them, but I'm not. So if you're reversing with this on, you're going to have that annoying bloody beeping going off all the time. If you're happy with that, leave it on all the time. I probably won't give a shit really personally. I'll be quite happy just to leave it on. I'm not doing that much backing. Just that point of consideration. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Just remembering that this is for most of these hybrid pop top bands. It should be very similar. Just check with the manufacturer. That's the only probably gripe I've got, is that there's no phone contact to get in touch with anyone about any problems you may have. But the after sales service, the quality of the product is really good. I'll check it once we've done a trip across Western Australia, which we're just about to start, and let you know the outcome during that trip of how it's actually travelling. But product, very impressed with. The quality of the product is fantastic. The email system dealing with them is very good. They'll get straight back to you with any questions you may have, and they're very patient for the stupid questions, which I am too, being an old bloke. Never cease to amaze me with the stupid questions I've got, but they're very patient. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys and girls, and we'll let you know how we're going once we hit the road tomorrow. Tubby out.